revenge with Lyra.
She didn't deserve it anyway. Take her away. She's not even part of our family. That's what my sister said when I found my daughter's cake in the trash. The same cake I stayed up all night baking, with pink swirls and butterfly toppers she picked herself. It was supposed to be a joint birthday for all the cousins. But when we arrived, no balloons. No seat for my daughter. No one even said her name. And now, here I was, holding a half-melted cake with plastic wings and crushed dreams, while my sister grinned like she hadn't just shattered a 7-year-old's heart. Hi everyone, my name is Cambria Lee, I'm 28, and if you think this is just another story about toxic family, stay tuned. Because what they tried to humiliate in front of everyone, I turned into a lesson they'll never forget. As my daughter clung to my leg, I bent down and whispered, "You did nothing wrong. You deserve every good thing." And then, without another word, I picked up the ruined cake, held my daughter's hand, and walked away from the backyard full of clapping cousins and forced smiles. No one followed. No one cared. But what they didn't know was that the next morning, I'd wake up to 23 missed calls from my sister. The same sister who once told me I was barely part of this family, because something had gone horribly wrong with her wedding booking. And the only person who could fix it was me. Funny how karma likes to RSVP. When I saw her name flash on my phone 22 times, I didn't answer. Not out of spite, but because I knew what she wanted. You see, what my family didn't know was that I'd been the one to recommend their wedding venue. It was a tiny private estate on the cliffs. I'd worked a catering job there years ago and kept a great relationship with the owners. They didn't advertise online. No social pages. Only referrals. And the referral had come through me. But yesterday, after the birthday disaster, I sent the venue manager a short email. "Please remove the Parker Wells wedding booking under my name. I'm no longer involved." And just like that, the date disappeared. Because it was never in her name. It was in mine. She must have found out around midnight, because that's when the calls started. And I just sat there, lights off, brushing my daughter's curls as she slept beside me, her little face finally calm. I whispered, "You're not an outsider, baby." They are. By morning, my mom had joined the panic parade. Text after text came in. "Cambria, we need to talk. Your sister's venue is saying it's gone? Are you doing this to ruin her wedding?"
Oh no, Mom. You did that.
When you clapped as my daughter cried. When you raised a toast while I wiped frosting off the grass. I made one call to the venue manager. Calmly told her not to release the spot to anyone else. Just leave it empty. And when my sister showed up outside my door at 11 a.m. with fake tears and trembling hands, I smiled. She still didn't know that I had one more surprise. She stood there, mascara running, heels in hand like she'd sprinted halfway across the city. "Cambria," she gasped, "please, I didn't mean it. Mom made me say that stuff about your daughter." I tilted my head. "You mean when she said my child doesn't belong in the family?" Her lips quivered. "It was just tension. Stress. Please, the venue canceled the whole thing. And the caterer backed out too. They said your name was on all of it." That was true. Because every vendor, the flowers, the band, the signature cocktails she boasted about on Instagram had been booked through me. She looked smaller than I remembered. But not because she'd shrunk. Because I'd grown. "You'll figure something out," I said calmly, keeping the door half open. "But the wedding's in 6 days, Cam." I leaned against the frame. "You mean the party celebrating the baby you told my daughter didn't deserve to live?"
Her face blanched.
"Oh yes. That part had slipped out during the cake scene. You weren't even supposed to have her," she'd muttered, not knowing I heard. I reached into the bowl beside the door and pulled out something light. An envelope. "I actually came to give you this," I said, handing it to her. She blinked. "What is it?" "My blessing. For the new venue. I called a cheaper one last night. Told them you'd be reaching out." Tears welled in her eyes. You did that for me?" I smiled. "Of course." She clutched it to her chest, relieved, thankful, until I added, softly, "Oh, but I gave them your real budget. You know, the one you've actually earned." And I shut the door. Behind it, my daughter giggled. Because we weren't done yet. The moment the door clicked shut, I knelt beside my daughter. She was still building that crooked tower of wooden blocks, focused, unfazed. I kissed her forehead. "You did nothing wrong," I whispered, because I knew someday she'd ask why Nana and Annie didn't come to her party, why her cake was in the trash, why she overheard those cruel words. But today, all she needed was truth wrapped in gentleness. "I know," she mumbled, then added. "They were mean, but we're not."
No, sweetheart.
We're not. My phone buzzed again.
Mom.
Voicemail. Then another one. This time from the venue. "Cambria," the manager sighed. "They tried to use your deposit, but I told them it had been refunded to your name. You're all cleared. Do you want us to block them from rebooking?" I didn't hesitate.
Yes.
Block them. And send the final notice to her personally. They thought they could use me, again. Fund their image. Tarnish mine. But what they never expected was that the forgotten daughter had stopped forgiving. By evening, their little wedding dream was unraveling like old lace. Florist canceled. Photographer pulled out. Even Ezra, my brother, sent a text. "You should have been there for her. But I get it now." And then a second, "I can't believe what she said to your kid." It made me freeze. Was he taking my side? I didn't reply. Not yet. Because just then, I received a message from someone unexpected. My aunt. Estranged. Rarely spoke. It read, "I've heard what happened.
Can we meet?
I have something to show you." Under it, a photo. My mother. My sister. Holding my daughter's cake, days before the party. Laughing. Like it was all just a rehearsal. The cake was unmistakable. Pink frosting. Silver lettering. Little sugar butterflies, all custom. But in the photo, it wasn't on our table. It was at my mother's house. On her counter. Days before my daughter's birthday. They had used it, mocked it, like it was some inside joke. My fingers trembled as I typed a response to my aunt. "Where did you get this?" She replied instantly. "I was there. I left early." I didn't know what they were planning until later.
I didn't say anything then.
But after what she said to your daughter, I can't keep quiet. I stared at the screen. That cake wasn't forgotten. It was never meant for my daughter. They used her celebration as a setup, a background for their twisted theater. And I had paid for all of it. The bounce house, the decorations, even the balloons they refused to hang up. Just then, another message came through. This time from my mother. "You have 24 hours to fix this with the venue. I've already told them you'll pay again. Stop acting like a child." I didn't reply. Instead, I sent a single screenshot. The one from my aunt, the photo of the cake. Then I blocked her. That night, I sat on the floor of my kitchen, my daughter asleep beside me, her hand on my leg like a tether. And I realized something. They never hated me. They just never saw me. Not as a daughter. Not as a sister. Just as a source. Until now. The next morning, I put on a clean shirt, brushed my hair, and opened my laptop. The wedding was 5 days away. And I had just logged into the one account they'd all forgotten I still had access to. The account I logged into was still active. It was from my old job, a shared vendor dashboard where I had once managed event logistics for high-profile clients. Years ago, I had quietly registered my mother's name under the account when she'd begged for help planning my sister's engagement. Back then, she hadn't even said thank you. Now, she'd forgotten it existed. Big mistake. I pulled up the wedding vendor list. Venue, booked in my name. Caterer, booked in my name. Decor, paid deposit. Still pending balance. Florist, same. DJ, chairs, tables, tent, all under me.
Why?
Because she'd used my old templates and asked the same vendors I'd worked with for years. She didn't build a wedding.
She stole it.
I didn't cancel anything that day. Instead, I made a call to each vendor, not to shut it down, but to freeze access. Pause everything. No one but me can approve changes or payments. If anyone calls you, tell them it's under review. They agreed. Then I sent an email to the venue, attaching screenshots from my mother's texts. No explanation. Just the words. I will no longer be covering this event. Please invoice the rightful party. Then I waited. By the next evening, my cousin, the only one who had sent my daughter a card, messaged me. You okay? Aunt Lori's in full meltdown. Said the venue canceled everything. Flowers too. I typed, then paused. And just sent back. Tell her I'm focusing on people who show up. That night, my sister posted on Instagram, pretending nothing had happened. But the next morning,
Her post was gone.
and so were the wedding decorations, removed from the venue's official schedule. They were scrambling. But I wasn't done yet. By Friday morning, the group chat was on fire. Mom had renamed it to Urgent Wedding Chaos, as if that would make me flinch. I don't know what's gotten into you, she texted. You've always been selfish, but this is your sister's big moment. That word, selfish, sat like a rusted knife in my stomach. I hadn't asked for designer gifts. I hadn't demanded to be praised. I just wanted acknowledgement that I existed. Instead, I'd spent years being the family wallet. My credit card had booked their trips. My work bonuses had paid their mortgage. And yet, the moment I invited them to my daughter's birthday, they forgot. No, worse. They discarded her cake like garbage. As if she and I were disposable. So, I didn't reply to the group chat. I went online and made a quiet update on the restaurant website. Now accepting private events. Within hours, I had 2 bookings. Strangers. Real people who didn't know my pain and didn't pretend I didn't matter. Then the phone rang. It was the venue coordinator, speaking softly. Hi, we've received 19 calls from your family. They're claiming you made unauthorized changes. But your name is on every file, every payment, every contract. I thanked her, then asked her to send one last email, CCing the new billing contact, my mom. The email subject? Outstanding balance for wedding services, immediate attention required. By the evening, my mom's Facebook page had gone dark. No wedding countdown, no brag posts, just a black profile picture. But that silence didn't mean surrender. Because at 11:58 p.m., a message lit up my screen. We need to talk. Please. Don't ruin your sister's life over some cake. I took a screenshot and replied, This isn't about the cake. This is about everything you threw away. I didn't respond to Mom's message. Instead, I scrolled back through old texts. Can you cover the deposit? Ezra needs a new laptop. We'll pay you back. We didn't invite you because you're always too sensitive. I used to read those and flinch. Now they felt like case files. Evidence. I opened my notes app and drafted a single announcement. No anger. No insults. Just truth. Due to repeated disrespect and erasure, I've chosen to step back from family events. This includes financial assistance, emotional labor, and attendance. I'm not angry. I'm simply done. Wishing you all clarity and healing. I posted it at 9 a.m. By noon, my inbox had dozens of messages. Some angry, some sarcastic, some stunned into silence. But the one that stuck out came from someone unexpected, my cousin Ava. I saw your post. I cried. I felt the same way for years. Thank you for saying it. You gave me the courage to say no too. And just like that, I wasn't alone. Later that evening, I took my daughter out for ice cream. She giggled as chocolate melted down her wrist. No one sneered. No one judged. No one threw anything in the trash. We walked home hand in hand, passing by the same event venue that had once refused us entry. This time, the banner out front said, Closed for private event, booked by owner. I smiled. I hadn't burned bridges. I had simply lit my own path. One where my daughter would never have to question